Okay, well, my first question I've been thinking this entire conversation is why, when you talk about teaching, do you call math mathematics?
So your question is, do I or why do I or what is it?
Why do you? I've never heard anybody say mathematics before, like
What?
with so much like vigor, like it's math.
The reason why I say mathematics with so much vigor is because I'm obsessed with math and I love it. And I grew up learning math at home from my dad. We were learning math together. And I got some home training and I fell in love with it early on. By the time I went to kindergarten, I already knew algebra. I was that level. I was like a different level of math student for sure. And unfortunately, another negative consequence of the racial hierarchy is that while I was recognized, because it was impossible not to recognize how much farther advanced I was than my colleagues, like or my peers, uh, that was not. There were very only small efforts to do anything about that from my perspective as a child. Okay, of course I'm looking
Mm.
back, but like as far as what I know happens to other students who showed the kind of promise that I had, like that stuff was not happening for me.
Mm.
And so who knows where I could have gone had I had the kind of support that other people who show that kind of promise I've seen them get. But what did end up happening is it gave me a really strong foundation in math and it helped me understand math at a different level. Like I would say that a lot of people don't really know what math is. Math is the closest thing that we as humans have to absolute truth, to a truth that is absolute about this universe, a truth that's beyond the scope of human perception. In other words, us perceiving it is meaningless. It still exists as truth. And so that's why I
Mm.
love math because,
Ooh.
oh yeah, yeah, it's powerful. It's like raw power, and a lot of people don't see it that way or don't know of it that way because ultimately it can only be actualized as that power if you have that understanding in the first place. Otherwise, it can't be used. So for me, because I had that foundation, I learned what it was and I learned how it can be used and how it can apply. And so I have all kinds of mathematics that I have developed and I utilize in my daily life. I teach some of these things to people randomly, and it helps people, because it is literally absolute truth. It's universal truth. So I don't have to.
Mathematics just like accidentally, it just like exudes from your pores.
That's right. I live it. I breathe it. I love it. And so, yeah, like I actually, my partner, I was just talking to him the other day, maybe 2 days ago or something, with our mutual friend, and I just told them both. I was like, you know what? I want to have more conversations with y'all about math. There is so much. I literally ended up at the end of that pulling out a math book and showing them things in it. Like I am just very passionate about math and I love teaching it. I've been teaching it since 2006. I still teach it today, and I really don't see myself never being deep into math. I probably will get a math PhD at some point too, but the only reason I haven't is because there's like 1.2% of PhDs in math are black or something like that, or like well, the reason why it matters is because the way that my mathematics abilities have developed are actually quite related to race and quite related
How
to
so?
because part of my understanding of it was to try to find a solution. I actually was using math to try to find a solution to racism, um, because that's a thing that is possible. I could go on and on about the different contexts in terms of, like, for instance, criminal justice, right? The way that people use statistics in order to manipulate people's ideas about the
Okay.
criminal justice system, right? That's like base level stuff. But like on the next level stuff, it's like at the level that we were talking about today, in terms of like how the problem is structured and how to find a bridge to this seemingly paradoxically impossible to bridge gap, right? That's like a math problem. Whether you think of it that way or not, that's what it is. And so, like, I am able, because I've learned enough, to translate that problem into mathematics and then find a solution using the laws of math. It's very complicated, but like that is a thing that is possible. That's how you math problem solving and math go hand in hand. So like
Right.
as long as you can identify a problem accurately in a mathematics context, you can then use mathematics to solve it. And a lot of people just don't have any ability or concept of how to do that, but I've learned a lot over the years about how to do it. And I do it in a lot of contexts. So I'm just trying to use that knowledge I've gained to try to apply it to this context. That's what I'm doing.
Fascinating. I don't have a concept of that. That sounds really cool.
Math is like the coolest.
Mm.
Yeah, no one ever agrees right away, but listen, my record is 2 minutes. 2 minutes it took me for to meet a stranger and for them to call me a math wizard. All right. I am the one who brings the reality of math, the truth of math, the universality of math to light for people because I know that people don't know this stuff. People do not get exposed to this in math class. You'll never learn it unless you get to a very high level of math. And then it's unlikely you'll learn it then either because the universe of math, like education, is not interested in what I just talked to you about. That is not.
Well,
its
yeah,
interest.
because like I'm even thinking like what do I need to know math for? Like as ignorant as that sounds, it's kind of like I have tools to do the things, to make the calculations, to drive the car, to, you know, I know that math underlies all of this stuff, but in a like as a person that as an individual who just walks through the world, like what do I need math? What do I need to know math for? You know, and so I think it is interesting to consider math more expansively, outside of like maybe the strict numbers and the I guess the language of math that I learned at least, which was numbers. Um,
Yeah, there's like a
okay.
whole
Well, I mean, I
mathematics
think this
outside of
makes
numbers. Yeah.
sense.
There's a whole mathematics that like you don't need numbers for. You know, actually that's what I was showing them in the math book that I was showing them. I was showing them that math is beyond what you're taught in your little classes. You know, like math is
Right.
infinite. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now I understand why you use mathematics because it's bigger than math.
That's
It's an
right.
actual, it's like
It's
it's a way of life. So
mathematics.
that's my